Paris and Hong Kong, Shanghai and Tokyo. You are now tuned in to the Disney Holic Show.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Holic Show. That's Mike TV.
And that's Jen Diz.
Today we embark on a global adventure exploring Disney parks worldwide to make our day truly magical. From indulging in delicious snacks to experiencing thrilling attractions, we plan the ultimate Disney day. Intro was a little hard for me to get through. I'm pretty sure I mispronounced half of the words.
Ultimate Disney Day. Well, you know what? I couldn't get through the beginning either because I thought, should I say Paris or Paris? And then I sounded like such a loser thinking of trying to do it like Paris because I don't know if you remember, but 2021 there was this funny meme slash TikTok or whatever the thing was back then of this young woman thinking she's so cool in France, and she just kept saying "oui baguette" as if she spoke French. And I think she was ahead of her time because now that I think back on it, she was obviously trolling us. I don't think she really was that dumb. I hope she wasn't that dumb. She's an American.
Amazing, if that's true.
Oui baguette.
That was not in my algorithm. So I did not get the oui baguette, but I was getting the croissant. All the stuff with the croissants. And people arguing about how to pronounce, is it Ibiza or Ibiza? Or is it, what is the city in Spain? Barcelona or Barcelona?
Ah, yeah, it's Barcelona because the Spanish people who live there have that extra TH. But
how do you pronounce it?
It depends who I'm talking to.
Right.
There you go. Like, I don't want to be obnoxious, but if it's somebody who I think knows it's pronounced that way, I'll pronounce it the right way. But if it's somebody who I don't think, now I'm judging people by their looks or whatever. If it's someone who I don't think would know how to pronounce it properly, I just keep it dumbed down. Does that make sense?
I always just stick with Barcelona and then just be like, you know what? Like, if I say Barcelona, they're knowing I'm faking it and they're probably going to eye roll. So I'm just going to not.
Oh, you know what's a good rule of thumb? A better way to explain it is if you're in that place, that's when I try to pronounce it correctly. Because I'm always told by people that they appreciate that when tourists come and even stumble with it, but at least try to pronounce it right.
Right.
But yeah, outside of visiting the country, I don't know. Yeah, it just depends.
I mean, we even have those locally. Like when people come to Fremont where I live and they say Blacow instead of Blakeow, it kind of makes me cringe, right? So I get that. That's somebody knows they should say Blakeow and they say it properly just to make me happy.
Yeah. Especially if they were to say the name and say, am I saying that right? After.
Right.
Yeah. That happens in New York City all the time with Houston.
Yes, I learned that one.
I was saying Houston. Sorry. It's spelled Houston, like Houston, Texas. And I was saying it that way when I moved here too. So don't worry. I think most people.
Oh, I learned that one in the subway. Some woman told me to be very careful not to say Houston because I will get any bad situation.
They're like tourists.
I was like,
she
wow.
said tourist. But yeah, a lot of people who first move here, they don't know how to pronounce half these names. I live off a street called Troop. So it's pronounced troop, like a military troop, but it's spelled Throop, Throop.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And how are you supposed to know until some local tells you?
Right. Like the Jamaica Freeze is giving me flashbacks to the Jamaica Freeze.
I remember listening to that episode on the subway train when you guys.
It's still the highest moment of engagement with listeners that I've ever had in podcasting. I got more emails than I could even keep up with about the fact that I had pronounced Jamaica as Jamaica. It's spelled exactly the same.
It's spelled it.
Am I supposed to know?
Oh, that's a good one too.
It was really funny.
But there's a lot. Yeah. You know what we need to do is find the Disney ones that non-Disney people pronounce wrong. There's got to be.
Right.
Yeah. Huh. That's a
Like
whole
when
other
they say
episode.
Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah.
blasphemy.
That one's even harder because just when people learn how to say it the right way, they don't understand that we're only saying it's an exception for the ride, but not for the real place.
I never, when I think of the Caribbean, I never think of, oh, I want to go to the Caribbean.
Right?
It's
It
like
just
not
doesn't
even a
sound
thing.
right. Caribbean Queen. Remember that song? Na, na,
Not my
na.
algorithm.
It's like yacht rock, like 80s yacht rock.
I'll have to maybe put
Someone
that on
out
the
there
end of
is
the
like,
episode.
yeah, oh my God, I love that song. But yeah, I want to do that. We should one day figure out all the things that people say, do, or pronounce wrong that are non-Disney, and then do people correct them or not? Ooh, that's fun.
I love it. Let's do it.
Well, I love a suggested topic, and we are still in the midst of Patreon Takeover Month. Time, whatever it is, we have a lot and we want to cover all
Month
of
and
them.
a half,
Some
possibly.
change. So we got a really fun topic from our listener and Patreon member, Jillian. And Jillian said, what would it be like if you all planned a perfect Disney day, Disney holic style, at one of the international parks, snacks and all? And so that's our challenge. And we each picked an area or a park, and we are going to go through what our plans would be. Yeah, if we went to those
Yeah.
places, right? But
Yeah.
first,
Yeah.
where
I
have
I
we
think
been, right?
yeah, so first of all, Jillian, thank you for this opportunity to get our minds thinking internationally because I love that, like, I don't know that much about these parks. And it's just like kind of fun to look into them. So
Yeah.
this topic was really fun because I was like really getting to dive into some of these parks that I've kind of ignored just because I've never gone. I just really don't, I'm just not that aware of everything. So it's really fun. So first off, I want to go ahead and let our listeners know which parks we've already been to internationally because we've been to different parks
Yeah.
than each other and at different times. So, what international parks have you visited so far?
And after 60 years of knowing each other, we haven't gone to any
Jesus.
international parks together.
We have
Disney,
not.
Disney, yeah. So,
Soon
okay.
to come.
So I have only been to, and I say only because I don't think I've been to a lot. I've been to all the stateside parks. So Disneyland, California Adventure, the four Disney World parks, one water park. Oh my gosh, there's still a park technically in US that I haven't been to,
Ooh.
which is Blizzard Beach. But the question is about international parks. So I have not been to Disneyland Paris or what was called Euro Disney back in the day. And I have only been to Tokyo Disney Sea, not even Tokyo Disneyland across the way
I
proper.
forgot about
Yeah.
that.
Just so that's like
Okay.
someone going to Anaheim and just going to DCA. But I guess if a Japanese person did that, that would make sense for the same
And
reason
they've
I
already
did.
gone to Tokyo Disneyland plenty of times.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I only had one day, so I had to choose.
Right.
Okay.
I would have done the same.
There
So,
you go. Where have you
cheers
been?
to that. Um, wait, so you've only been to Tokyo only?
Only
Why did I think you've
Tokyo.
been to Hong
Yeah.
Kong for some reason? That must have been
My
somebody else.
cousin has, and I live vicariously through her international trips. So there's a lot of stuff that she saw with her eyes that I just talk about with people. I go, oh my God, my cousin went and she said that I don't even want to mention it because I don't know if it's offensive or not. But yeah, just the cultural norms over there in a crowd are so different that
Yes.
I will never forget like the stories she told me. So there you go.
Oh my gosh, wild. Wild.
Wild.
Along with learning pronunciations of words, you have to also keep in mind cultural differences, right? It is true.
Okay,
Prepare yourself
so
at the best.
on that topic, we love a quick squirrel. Squirrel?
We
I
are
was
we are squirrels.
we
That's
are
it.
squirrels. I was on a Disney World trip with my sister and we were talking about the international parks and particularly Tokyo because I was telling her how they have this Sinbad ride there. And we happened to be watching Clash of the Titans at the DVC. It was like on TV, so we were just talking about like all of those old tales and fables and which ones Disney hasn't done yet. And then we just realized how weird it is that they randomly have Sinbad. It's not even a movie or a cartoon. It just has its own dark ride. It's the story of Sinbad, Disney-fied at Tokyo Disney Sea. And then we started talking about what language are these rides in. And so it's like, even if you go there, it's usually in that language. And I think you and I were talking about Country Bears before, I think, being in a different language in Disneyland, in Tokyo Disneyland.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I just think that's a whole other consideration with international is which rides are in English, which ones are both, and which ones are just in the native tongue, because
Right.
it changes it. Like if whether you're not you're following along the story or just what you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I feel like Disney might make that probably the easiest than anywhere because they're so good at storytelling. So like you
Yeah.
can feel the story and like probably catch on a little bit more than you normally could. But I always love like when you meet somebody that speaks a different language, even like a one-on-one conversation, like the amount of like nonverbal communication that goes on. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
you almost like you can get through a conversation without sharing a single word of the same language. And it's pretty amazing sometimes. It's like
I
kind of fun.
agree. I have been traveling to Mexico a lot and trying to learn Spanish. I don't speak fluent Spanish.
Duolingo.
Duolingo. I was on a good streak and then it just fell off. But anyways, I do a lot of gesturing and sign language, and I don't even realize it's
Yes.
happening.
It's like charades.
It's like it's a lot more like charades than it is
Yes.
proper American Sign Language. Yes. And it works and they do it back and then Jerry laughs at me when I say something completely wrong, doesn't correct me, but
Oh, shoot.
there was
Hilarious.
something I was asking for and I just kept saying a completely different word. Anyways.
It's like, no, that's wrong.
Oh, and
At
then
least you have
the
him there. It's always nice to have someone that speaks a language with
it
you.
is
That's
very
always
nice to have him there.
super helpful.
The flight attendant, this is another quick squirrel, but what would happen to you and I at a Disney park. It's an example. So I was at the airlines, American Airlines or whatever, trying to get back from Mexico to New York. And so with those, especially if it's an American carrier like American Airlines, I don't know where the flight attendant crew is from and what languages they speak. It could be either like they could be New York based or they could be Guadalajara based or whatever. And usually they're bilingual. So she was speaking to me in Spanish, and I was being one of those annoying the passengers that's like waiting for them to open the gate so you can go in.
Right.
And so I was standing there only about like 15 minutes before it came. And she came up really politely and started speaking to me in Spanish. And I was like, yeah, I got this. I'm going to do this. So I would just keep saying "sí" because I did think she was just asking me simple yes or no questions that I understood. Like, do you have your boarding pass? Are you going to this flight to JFK? What's your group number? I thought I got all this. So I just kept saying yes. And at the very end, she kept trying to like take my suitcase and I was not wanting her to. So I was like kind of going back. I was like, no, 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 it's okay, not yet. And then she goes, you speak English? Like perfect English. You speak English. I was like, okay, this is one of those badass cool flight attendants who speaks like 15 languages. And now she thinks I'm so dumb. And she had asked me, yes or no question, do I want to do a gate bag check? Because they have a full plane.
Oh, whoops.
So, and she probably was also asking that on the speakers. So I came
Right.
up there and I looked like one of those volunteers that wanted. Oh gosh. So
How
this is the
funny.
stuff you honestly have to consider when you're planning
Yeah.
international park trip. Like you said, is there someone you know that might speak the language that would be fun to come along with? And if not, get your Duolingo ready.
Get that Duolingo. And I mean, it's also like fun to learn
Yeah.
another language. And just like that, it's actually a great tip is to just try to learn the basics. It'll help so much. And it's respectful. I think it's quite respectful.
Yeah.
And it's fun. Like, why not?
It's
Learn the
fun.
basics at least.
Oh, a new technology that I was using on this last trip. Most iPhones now automatically have the new app. It's called Translate. And you could type
Hmm.
in, it translates. You could talk, it will translate. You could put the speakerphone or the microphone in between two people, and it will translate as you both are talking different languages. Now, I didn't use that feature. It just feels a little too intrusive. I'm not ready for that. Like to put it in front of a stranger and be like, but my favorite part of it is you could turn it on camera mode and point it at a menu and it translates the menu. Yeah. In
Amazing.
real time, it's like floating right there. It'll translate anything, signs or whatever, but I use it a lot for the menus, which then taught me Spanish words that I needed to use again like the next day to eat. So there you go.
Amazing. I love it.
Edutainment. Edutain yourself.
Yes, it is edutainment, right? Make it edutainment. Could just be education, but you should make it
There you go.
edutainment. It's on
The
you for that.
Epcot way.
So international parks that I visited, I've only been to Disneyland Paris. That was with Christy. Shout out Christy. Hey. That was like our Euro trip back in 2012. So it's been a while.
Wow.
But they do have two parks over there. We did get to visit both of them. We spent, God, did we spend 2 days or was it just one day? I feel like we didn't have a lot of time. But that's the only park I visited. Most beautiful castle, in my opinion. It's
Wow.
gorgeous. So, and we got lucky. We went on a day with pretty nice weather. It was getting like a little warm during the day, but it was like not bad. Like we had our t-shirts on, and then in the evening we wanted a sweatshirt, and that was it. So like, yes,
Ooh, that sounds like
timing
good
was right
weather.
for that.
I don't know much about Paris, France climate. I never actually have thought about it. It snows there, I think. I see in people's Instagrams,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
pretty to see the castle with
yeah.
snow.
I
Oh.
know, I know. But a lot of the rides closed down, so you have to kind of like
Ooh.
weigh it out for that. Yeah, how much do I want to see the snow on the castle? Um, so the parks that we haven't gone to, what priority level do you have them rated at for the international parks only?
Wow. Oh my gosh. It changes depending, I would say it changes depending on when we go on this hypothetical trip because
Okay.
there's so much construction being done in a good way, or like things are opening over the next few years. But let's say I don't think of any of that. I just go with what's there right now. My priority would be, oh, it's hard to say. I'd say Shanghai, but
Okay.
if I could choose from any parks, including the ones I've been to, the one, I would say Tokyo Disney Sea one more time first. I just don't, I feel like I didn't get it all. It was just so intense and overwhelming. But if it was one I haven't been to, definitely Shanghai. Yeah, what about you?
My number one, of course, is Tokyo Disney Sea. Like I'm just dying to get there. It's going to be probably the next trip I make outside of going to Disneyland or Disney World is going to I'm going to
Oh,
Tokyo. I don't care anymore. I have to go. I'm tired of waiting. I need to
yes,
go.
you got to go. There's so many reasons to go.
At this point,
Um,
I'm like, you know what? I have a credit card. Let's just go.
ching, 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 get those points. What is on the bottom of your list?
um, I guess Hong Kong.
Same.
Yeah.
Sorry about it.
Also, like I'm thinking about the areas around it. So Tokyo, I also am very excited to visit Tokyo as a city and like Japan. Um, Hong Kong, I'm just unfortunately just not super excited about. So, and then Shanghai's also like newer.
Yeah.
So like it's like the newer park and Shanghai looks for whatever reason they're selling it to me a little more than they're selling Hong Kong. So like
It
for all
looks
the reasons
small.
these
Hong Kong looks small.
yeah, it looks small. Um but yeah, so I definitely want to try to make a like a China trip and go to both the parks or resorts, on the same trip, knock them out because like close enough.
Especially if you do it as a true Disney holic and not make it about visiting China, really. I know that sounds bad, but just make it about the Disney things, even though they're pretty far apart, that's doable. Like if someone came to the States and they're like, I'm a Disney fan and I'm gonna do a week at Disneyland and a week at Disney World.
Right,
It is what it is.
right.
That could be fun.
Yeah. I think I would have to maybe squeeze at least one day in for like other stuff
Oh, you know
because
what
I'd feel
though?
just like cheated if I don't see China while I'm in China. You know what I mean?
Just away from the point. The thing that I think both you and I must see at Hong Kong, though, is Mystic Manor. And I
Yes,
don't
I
think they're going
know.
to bring that anywhere else. It's like one of the things that it lures us in with Hong Kong.
Yeah, man, that's even ugh. So Well, let's jump into our trip planning, but
Oh yeah,
I'll
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
tell you
yeah.
why. I chose my park to do trip planning for is Shanghai. Um, because like I actually just don't know that much about Shanghai in comparison to like Tokyo, for instance. So I picked this one to look into for this topic. Um, but now that I've looked into it a little more, it's almost making Hong Kong go up a little more on the list because of Mystic
Oh,
Manor.
oh
Only like
wow.
strictly, like I'm so
Yeah.
excited about Mystic Manor. And one of the things about Shanghai that to me is really missing is they don't have a haunted house or anything of the sort.
That is very weird. And they also
So,
lost the exclusivity of one of the attractions already.
yes, yeah, yeah, like
Uh,
one of the biggest
uh-huh,
leads
uh-huh.
there, right? Okay, so I will jump into my trip planning of Shanghai Disneyland. Let me
Ooh,
pull
let's
up
give you
my
a little
notes.
intro here. Jen
Shanghai
goes to
Disneyland.
Shanghai. Yeah, there you go.
We did the same thing. Amazing. Visit Shanghai. Okay. So, and also, I think I'm pronouncing Shanghai wrong.
That I can't help you with. I don't know.
Shanghai. Isn't
I
it
just say
Shang?
Shanghai. I think people who live there pronounce it. I've heard so different. I don't think it's even
Yeah.
spelt the same way. It's completely different, I think.
Yeah. That's another thing I didn't notice until I went squirreling again. When I
Yeah.
went on my big Euro trip a while back, I didn't realize this sounds so ignorant, but I did not realize that other countries spell their countries differently. Like
Yeah.
Italy is Italia.
And Germany is Deutschland.
Yeah. Like I didn't even
Very weird.
know. I thought
Very
those were
weird.
like nicknames or something. Like I'd seen them around, but I thought, but no, that's like how they what they call their country. I'm like, oh, I thought that was like a universal.
Basically, everybody in in the world dumbs stuff down for our dumb American ass selves. They make it.
Oh
They
my
try to
God.
make it easier. Yeah, a lot of country names. That's so
It's
funny.
wild. Yeah. And so I was like, oh man, it's like, okay, you have to learn so much, but Shanghai is one of them. I'm just going to pronounce it Shanghai.
Yeah.
Apologies to anybody who thinks I'm
Hey,
pronouncing
that's
it
how Bob Iger
incorrectly.
pronounces it, so we're gonna pronounce it
There you
that
go.
way
Bob
too.
Iger rules. Okay. So rule number one, and I learned this the hard way, check the refurb schedule and construction schedules.
Ooh, yeah.
Have to. Do not book your trip until you have looked at this. The reason I bring this up, I may have said this on the podcast before. I went to Disneyland Paris. We were doing this whole Euro trip. We're kind of like flexible on our dates because we were kind of traveling on our own, doing whatever we wanted to do. I did not look at the refurb, and something in my brain clicked when we were in like Scotland or something. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even look at the refurb schedule. So I looked.
Yikes.
Mother Ucker, are you serious? Haunted Mansion, Phantom Manor in Disneyland Paris was closed for refurb
What?
like 2 days before we got there.
You
And I was
didn't
going to
get
miss
on
it.
Phantom Manor?
I did because
Oh,
I then switched my entire plans around to get to Disneyland 2 days earlier just to go on Phantom Manor.
I think that was a justified move.
Like I skipped an entire section of England that was like the beautiful countryside of England and a giant festival of like jungle I was supposed to go to. I skipped it all because of Phantom Manor. And it was worth it.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's fine. It's fine. Festival, like getting told for that stuff. Anyways, so it was great. But oh my goodness. So yeah, we had to end up switching our plans and heading to Paris early, which was great because Paris is beautiful.
It's
But
important.
so yes, make sure to check those refurb schedules so you will not have any surprises when you've traveled all that way. Make sure you have that rule written down. Um, and I'm deciding that if I'm going to go all the way to China, I'm just going to go big or go home. I'm going to stay on property. There's two choices. There's a Shanghai Disneyland Hotel or the Toy Story Hotel. I'm going to try them both,
Oh,
right?
oh,
Couple
okay.
nights at one
Curveball.
night at the other. I think that's doable. And then also
Wait, I need to know which 2 nights at which hotel.
I'm gonna stay 2 nights at Shanghai Disneyland Hotel and one night at Toy Story Hotel.
Fair enough. Their Toy Story hotel, at least from what I've seen, looks so much better than like our Pixar Pier one.
It
it's
is
more
great.
literally interpreted, right? Like giant toys and things like that.
Yeah. Yep. And It's really cute. However, the Disneyland Hotel is very beautiful, and I just
Oh
kind of want to
yeah.
live in
Yeah.
that at this moment. So that's why I
Yeah.
picked that one for the 2 nights. Um, so staying on property gives you those other perks like early entry to the park, and you get your own entrance to the park, which is great. But does this mean that when I go to Shanghai Disneyland, I have to become a rope dropper?
No, don't do it.
Oof. I'm thinking that if
Actually,
I
if you're on
fly
a
straight in,
vacation though, it's
yeah,
different,
and
right?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be my schedule's gonna be all off no matter what because of the time difference. So maybe
Yeah.
I'll just adjust ahead of time to wake up 3 hours before rope drop. Like, why does it matter when I'm sleeping? I'll just schedule my
Just
day
wake up,
around
Shanghai
the
Disneyland
best Disney
time.
day possible.
That's
Yep,
DT.
exactly. So I might not be a rope dropper here, but I will be a rope dropper internationally. Um, I also found out that they have their own app over there, just like we do here. So make sure to download that ahead of time. You can book all your tickets there. They do require your passport to be in hand to get into the park. I thought that was super interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It not
And your passport is
your
used
actual
while booking the
passport.
tickets. Your actual passport. You can't have a picture of it. You can't have a scanned copy of it. You have to have your physical passport there.
Wow.
How cool would that be if they stamped it? They don't, but how cool would that be?
Oh, that'd be cute.
That would make it worthwhile. I do not like carrying my passport any more than I need to because I always feel like I'm gonna drop
Yeah.
it, lose it somewhere. So I don't love that you have to bring it, but it is part of the rules, evidently. So yeah, so I would download that app, buy all my tickets ahead of time, skip any lines possible, and make that a thing. I am gonna go to this park for 4 days. Um, I put
Wow.
minimum, but I'm already all the way over there. I want to make sure I can see it all. 3 of these days are going to be in the parks or park. There's only one park.
This is what
3 of the days are going to be in the park, and one day is going to be dedicated to like relaxation and Disney Town. They have a downtown Disney
Oh,
Springs kind of place. So I want to visit that and like have the time to explore that without feeling like I'm cheating myself of the parks for a day. Um, so I would go with like a microstructure kind of situation where I have some goals and like some big time blocks, but not like super hyper critical of like what I'm doing with my time. I want to be able to enjoy it and do my AP brain, even though I'm not
yeah.
in Disneyland.
You'll
That is
have a better experience, I think, that way.
exactly. So like
Yeah.
the AP brain doesn't even have to be for APs. It can be for just Disney Holic. We should just change it to Disney Holic brain. Like just make
Yeah.
sure you have the time. I swear that's like my number one piece of advice I give anyone who asks for advice when they're visiting Disneyland. They haven't gone in a while. How often I say, how long are you planning to visit? And they'll say, whatever, 3 days. And I'm like, go for 4. Like I always get one more out of
Add
them
one more.
because whatever they're planning is likely already stressful. So just throw an extra day in to enjoy yourself a little more through all of the days that you're there. So I'm going to do the same. That's why I booked a whole 3 days for one park. I think that's probably good. And I'm going to kind of come up with a theme to keep myself a little on track. So day
Oh,
one, I'm going to be hitting all the big attractions. So this is like first day, I'm going to be so excited. There's no way I'm not going to do it anyway. So
wait,
like,
which park? Which park? Oh no, Shanghai. There's just
yeah,
one.
one
Whoops, twice. I thought.
singular. Is this also the, wait, Hong Kong Disneyland only one also, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Disneyland Paris has two, Tokyo has two, Hong Kong and Shanghai have one.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Um, so yeah, so I would hit all the big attractions with the exception of Zootopia. I'm going to give them their own half of a day because I feel like that's brand new. It's probably insane.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
so excited to visit it. So I'm going to do all the bigger rides like Pirates of the Caribbean. Um, I definitely want to do the challenge trails at Camp Discovery, which is really popular. So it gets really crowded. So you want to like, get there and do
Where
that
is that? Like,
earlier.
what land is that in?
It's in Adventure Island or Adventure Isle.
Oh,
Sorry.
ooh,
And I
cool.
heard it's really hard. Friends of the show, Laura and Jessica, have told me that it's like actually, or was it them or might have been my friend Jackie?
Oh, so it's
Maybe
probably
both.
not like the one in California Adventure for
No,
kids.
this one you're like hooked to cables and you have to like, it's like actually physically
Oh,
challenging.
wow. It's like those
But you
team
like
building
climb
things.
these areas around these waterfalls and all sorts of cool stuff. It looks really cool. So I
That
want to
sounds
do that,
fun.
but I'll probably die. Maybe I should leave that for last at the end of the trip. Say go home in pain. Um, But yeah, I'm going to do a lot of these bigger attractions. And as I was going through the list of what attractions have the longest lines, I'm starting to realize there is a lot of repeats,
Oh.
like a lot. So,
But it's
for
also fun to
instance,
compare the repeats.
I mean, okay, this one, Soaring Over the Horizon,
Nope, absolutely not.
right?
I would maybe go in and peek at the queue because I think they added SEA to that particular one,
Oh, that's
an
true.
SEA storyline. But yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Well,
Like,
get me that damn line. If they kill me, they
if it's
will.
more than like 10 minutes, no.
I'm wondering why it's called Soaring Over the Horizon instead of Soaring Over the World. I watched the video. I'm pretty sure it's the same.
Oh,
So I don't
interesting.
know what's going on with that, but hey, it looks very similar. So I would put that at the bottom of my list. I'd do it if I have time, but not important at all. Um, they also have Seven Dwarfs Mine Train
They do?
there. Mm-hmm.
Ah, I didn't know
Same
that.
same ride, car, everything.
Oh,
I don't know if I didn't watch the ride through. You know me, I don't like my spoilers. So I didn't watch like whole ride throughs of any of this stuff,
okay.
but it looks the same from what I
Yeah,
could
it
tell,
probably
from what I
is.
did
Yeah.
see.
So
Um,
we traded a ride with them.
yeah, right. They also have, of course, like Dumbo, and then they have Buzz Lightyear is different, but same. It's like a shooter in a
Oh,
car
okay.
game. So like I could probably skip that too, you know?
4 days is
Sorry.
now sounding like a lot of days.
Yeah. So okay, so Shanghai, I was very excited about. Um, and now I'm less excited. Like there's just okay, so there's a lot of like repeats, and then the other rides are very um what's the word for it? Like the carnival rides? Like there's like
Oh,
Cars Land kind of rides. You know
oh,
what I
like
mean? Like
flat
not
rides,
Radiator
flat
Springs, but
rides.
like yeah, flat rides. And then also like not flat on the ground, but like just like carnival-y things. Like the
Yeah,
ones where like the scrambler or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't know
yeah.
how to explain that. It's still a flat ride, but
Oh, gosh.
yeah. So I don't know, guys. We might need to go back. I mean, for sure Tokyo, but I might need to switch this over to go to Hong Kong for Mystic Manor. But in the meantime, we are still here in Shanghai. The number one thing on my list, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, that is a selling point.
That is a selling point. This does not seem to have too bad of wait times. They must have a really well, it must be loading a lot of people through. Um, Tron is up there for wait times. Also,
Wow.
probably can skip and do to Disney World, right? It's kind of those
That is
things
so
where I'm like,
weird. We can do it now. That was one of the things that I was so desperately wanting to go to Shanghai for.
right,
And I'm
right.
kind of glad I didn't plan a trip around like that ride in particular. But tell people about, you said you're going to ride pirates on this perfect Disney day. What
Yes.
is so different about it?
Oh my God, what isn't different about it is the real question. So you're still in a boat in the water. However, this has it's very modern in like as far as technology goes for a ride that you would imagine to be something like Pirates of the Caribbean. So like they
Yeah.
still have physical sets and physical animatronics, but then they have an added layer to that where the animatronics are those new T whatever we're at now. Is it just
I was thinking of
T1000 or
Terminator T 10,000 or something. Yeah, I don't
T10
know what it's
T
called.
whatever it is? Um, so these newer animatronics. Um, and then they have like an added effect on top of that with like projection mapping. There's this effect I've seen in videos, and I haven't digged into it too much because I don't want to know. But there's some way that there's a pirate, I think it might be Jack Sparrow, question mark. I can't remember if it's him or not. Turns into a skeleton right in front of you. I don't get it. I don't understand
That's
what's
so
happening.
cool.
It looks amazing.
That's cool.
They also use a ton of screen technology, which all of us Disneyholics hate, but this one seems okay because it's a nice blend of screen and
Yeah, when you
physical.
layer it in, it could be okay.
Right. However, your boat doesn't just go straight down a flume. There's numerous times where your boat is shifting which way it's aiming. It's almost like an omni mover at that point. Like they turn your boat different ways to view different things, and then you're spinning around and going the way you thought you weren't going. And just like a little
So
more
cool.
adventurous and chaotic. And it looks beautiful though. Like every inch of that thing looks amazing. So a cinematic adventure, I guess you would say. It's very well done. And I remember the first time I ever saw anything coming out of it, I just didn't even know that they were going to try to make it different than our Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was like, okay, Pirates of the Caribbean, of course they're going to have that. No, it's very different. So, also being on a Pirates of the Caribbean attraction that just feels familiar but very different. It's going to be, oh, it's very focused to the movies,
Ooh, and the
very
movies
much out
have
of the movies.
as iconic as the ride song is, the movie's musical score has earned its own place, like
Dun,
in
dun, dun, dun,
right.
dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun.
It's
Totally.
great. You could
Everybody
throw it
knows
into
it.
like a phantasmic montage and people have a good time. It's very adventure. And I like that
Yes.
it's in Shanghai, not replacing the old one. So it's like a little sequel to the ride that we love at Disneyland without getting rid of the OG. It's perfect.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a
Excuse
good
me.
one.
I also saw some recommendations online about when to go on these rides, which I thought was really fun.
Oh.
Like someone said, don't even waste your time going on Tron or Voyage to the Crystal Grotto during the daytime. Make sure you go at night. Do you know what
Oh.
Voyage to the Crystal Grotto is?
My guess is it's the boat-based water ride that goes to the castle with different princess scenes.
Yes.
Oh, I remember that
Very good.
from the expo.
Nice. Yeah, it looks like Storybook Land, but not miniature,
Oh,
basically.
that sounds great. I like it. I
Yeah.
just love a lazy river ride with
Yeah, yeah.
pretty things to look at. And then other people could see you on it. Like that's all I need in
Yep.
life.
Yep. It's very cool. So evidently they do some really cool lighting effects on there. And yeah, so that would be my day one is really trying to get through the bigger rides. They also offer a few different options of cutting the line tickets there.
Oh.
So navigate through those too, and you can maybe use those to your advantage. I would probably only do that on day one because that's going to be my heavy attraction day. And then we're going to go into day two. Day two for me is taking in the small details, like just taking your time to walk around, read the plaques, look up. Both great rules at Disney parks. Don't just look at the ground, look up. Make sure
Look
you're taking
up.
in 360 of where you are. Um, and just find those hidden details that are in every Disney park. Maybe you want to find all the SEA references. Like check that out before you go so you can go
Ooh.
see all of them, all the hidden Mickeys. Like do those kind of things. And then I would also sprinkle in a bunch of the smaller rides that don't really have long lines that day. So it'd be like more of a chill day to like really absorb the stuff that doesn't need a line, basically.
Is
Right.
the Fantasyland there? Does it have like storybook rides like we do in Disneyland?
Yeah. Yeah. Like they have, that's where Winnie the Pooh is. So that's another really popular
Oh,
attraction.
okay.
Winnie the Pooh, they have Peter Pan's Flight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are the repeats that I expect them to have. That
Right. Yeah.
I'm
So,
happy that they have. Yeah, okay.
yes.
Or else it would feel
Dumbo's over
weird
there.
going there and it doesn't have those.
Oh, and
Especially
actually,
Dumbo.
Dumbo's in an area called Gardens of Imagination. Ooh.
Ooh. I do remember from seeing all the stuff at the expo, there seems to be a lot of park space, like hangout space. Just
Yes.
that's
So
nice.
Shanghai is also very large, the park. So you're going to be walking a lot. So make sure you get those shoes, girl. You got to have those good,
Yeah.
comfortable shoes on because you will be doing a lot
Even
of that.
more reason to spread it out for 4 days because then you can like sit for 45 minutes in on the
Yeah.
bench in what did you call it? The Imagination Park,
The
whatever.
Garden of
Gardens. I mean,
Imagination.
you can hang out there, people watch, eat a snack. Yeah.
Exactly. So that would be day two, but then I also have an evening day two, and that's Zootopia. So I'm gonna go tackle Zootopia area in the evening because it looks beautiful. It's another one of those ones that's just the lighting is so gorgeous. I want to almost save it for nighttime. So day two, small details plus Zootopia. Then day three in the parks, or I'd probably take day three to do relax and Disney Town day, right? Just like do some of the shopping and restaurants, real chill, sleep in, take a day off. And then day three at the parks, which would be day four of the trip, is to then go back to the park and only do things that you want to redo or you missed. So like that's the
Okay.
day to like hit all the things that you just want to get in again before you leave. And that's your only point of focus that day. So you feel really satisfied when you leave because it's far away. We want to get it all in while we're there.
Especially if you're there that long, unless it's being refurbed, you should be able to get to everything you want.
Right. Yep. So that was 4 days at the park. And then I slotted another 2 days in to do Shanghai stuff. Like just go see the city and do some other stuff
Oh,
before you
okay.
leave. So I have like a week-long trip planned now, including
Yeah,
travel.
you added the Shanghai proper city. Okay.
Right. One thing I didn't talk about though was food. So that was part of Jillian's request is food. And I mean, there's just a ton, a ton. I'm gonna cough on. You guys, I'm still getting over being sick. I love my life. Okay.
Oh, you
Tons
know
of
what's
food.
normalized in Shanghai?
Huh.
Masks. I love it.
Masks.
Yeah. Or
Yes.
in Asia in general, it's just so much easier to just continue wearing masks for your own sake. I
I
love
thought
it.
it was also kind of normalized here now, but recently my friend posted a video with a mask on because she didn't have her makeup on. So she just was like,
Uh,
I'm just gonna put a mask on. And her video went like viral and it was all people hating on her for wearing a mask.
they're right back to it.
I was
Anyways,
like,
yeah.
what?
It's so
Like, I
weird.
didn't even think twice about it. Like, I may have said, like, oh, she's wearing a mask. Okay. Numbers are up, whatever. But
Yeah.
like,
And it's still like
but
flu season, and we all learned.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've been sick as hell. I wish I had kept wearing my mask. But
Mhm.
anyway, silly. Um, there it is for the road. Okay. So food stuff. One thing I'm like, first of all, the Asia parks, there's a lot of different foods. So like it's very easy to find something that's new and try it, right? So I wrote down a few that I was excited about when I was going through the different options. And the first one on my list is the Adventure Isle corn dog.
Ooh.
Am I saying that right? ISLE.
Yeah, Adventure Isle. Yeah.
It sounded wrong when I said it. Okay. Um, Now this is weird because their corn dogs are not crunchy. How do you feel about this?
Wait, what do you
Not
mean they're not
crispy.
crunch? They're not like deep fried?
I guess not.
I don't like it because it reminds me of when I'm too lazy to put a frozen corn dog in the oven.
They put in the microwave or something.
Yep,
Ugh,
and
it's
it
so
tastes like a
gross.
sponge cake on the outside. Ugh.
Yes. So that's exactly how this person described it. It's
Oh,
soft breading, which
okay.
grosses me out, but I have to try it. I'm like so curious. I've never had a corn
I
dog that
guess
wasn't crispy.
if I wasn't thinking it as a corn dog and just as like a bow or something, maybe. But if they're trying to
Right.
pass it as a corn dog,
It's full on a corn dog.
yeah,
Yeah.
my brain won't be able to
So
compute
the
it.
outside of it is rolled in what is called meat floss. Have you heard of
Oh,
this?
yes. I like
Okay.
meat floss. I like pork
So there is
floss.
meat floss on it.
Nice. Okay. It's really
So
good. Have you had it?
I have
He,
on certain things, but
like
not on corn
pastries
dogs.
and things. Yeah, not on a corn dog.
I think it's on like sushi sometimes too, right? Or the
Sometimes. I
tempura.
used to get it on these sweet buttered breads that I would get at this bakery in the Philippines. And I was like, what is this? I didn't know what I was eating. And it's because it just looks kind of like arts and crafts material.
Yeah.
It looks like you're not supposed to eat it and it kind of melts in your mouth. Anyways, very cool.
Yeah.
I'm getting more and more curious about this
That
corn
gives it a
dog.
crunch, a little bit of a crunch, but it's
Okay.
different than the cornbread crunch, right? So yeah, I'm gonna have to try those. Um, they also have a lot of different mochi you can find around the park, and I love mochi,
You do
so
like mochi.
gonna get into that for sure. Skipping the freaking turkey legs. Why do they have them everywhere? Can we just get
Oh,
rid of them?
shoot. They especially need to have it there because it's probably like, I could imagine someone taking a picture, eating one, being like, look, I'm an American, like Disney America. It's like
I like to be
imported
very
from,
Western with our turkey legs.
yeah,
My God. Um, they have a pineapple bun with barbecue pork, which sounds amazing
that
right
sounds
now.
good. Yeah, that sounds
Says
good.
a unique twist on traditional Chinese snack is available in Fantasyland, combines the sweetness of pineapple bun with savory barbecue pork.
That's
That I
giving
like
me
want right now. Can I have
like
it right now,
Trader
please?
Sam's or something. That could be really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They also have a lotus blossom ice cream cone. So
Oh,
that's fun. They have like a couple different flavors there as well. They have, I don't even know what this is. First of all, they have red bean, which I love. Have you had
oh.
red bean ice cream?
I've had red bean mung, like
Okay.
the thing itself that I think they put in the ice cream.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds good. I bet you they're
Red
really pretty
bean.
over there too, like these desserts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything is like gorgeous. They have sesame as well, which I have only tried as a mochi donut. Did not like it. Can't do the sesame, but that's okay. Then they have this other flavor. I don't even know what this is. Let me actually look this up. It's called osmanthus. Osmanthus? Do you know what that is?
It sounds like Ozymandias, which is a character in Watchmen, a comic book. I'm not a fan of mochi. I really want to
Oh,
be, and I
really?
always try it. And I tried the mochi donuts, I think, when we were on a trip with some of our friends and listeners in DCA. But I don't know, something about the texture.
I like them
My
because they're a little
my
more like chewy.
yeah, my brain doesn't like that.
Oh, I liked it. It's good. It makes it, but one of the reasons I like it is because I only want half a donut when they're like that.
Oh, okay. Like it's
It
just
makes me eat
enough.
less.
Yeah.
But it's yummy. But they have oh yeah, so I found a osm whatever. It's Osmanthus. I don't know how to pronounce it.
No, I have no idea.
Osmanthus. I can't pronounce it. It is a flower. So it's probably
Oh,
like that
okay.
flowery ice cream. So lots of fun flavors to try. So that would be fun. Um, what else do they have that I wanted? Of course, they have lots of bubble milk tea, which I love.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep. And then their caramel corn is evidently super popular. And I don't know if that's popular because they just don't have caramel corn a lot in China. Is that like not a cultural thing? And it's like popular because it's unique to Disneyland?
No
Or do they
idea.
do it differently and it tastes amazing?
Probably both. I remember that is something that is in my core memory of Tokyo Disney Sea was every popcorn cart had a different wacky flavor and everyone was eating popcorn. Like everyone. Like even me, I'm not really a first to get popcorn. I had to
Uh-huh.
have one because I wanted to fit in. Like it was so
You're
cool.
like, what is the deal?
Yeah, and they were really weird flavors. So I think yeah, maybe it comes with the territory of Disneyland and American popcorn, something unique to them, and then they add their own twist.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, there was one last one. Steamed buns
Oh, there
in
we go.
general, they have a lot of fun character ones. I'm sure you've seen those before online, like pictures of them. Super cute. They're colored and like they look like the green alien guys or whatever the character is. They're very cute, and I just want them because they're
Oh,
cute.
that
I just have
sounds
to eat all
cute.
the cute things. I don't know why.
And that's when it makes sense to be soft. It's like cute
Yes.
and soft, and then you eat it.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm obsessed with this. I still don't know how to pronounce it either. Osmanthus. I'm looking it up,
Uh-huh.
and there's not even really a flower that it's comparable to that I know of. And they say it smell and tastes like apricots and peaches, and you can only find it
Oh,
in East Asia. So there you go.
interesting. Okay. So
Osmanthus.
that's pretty much a roundup of the trip I would plan. However, I did skip something that friend of the show and friend in real life, of course, Lisa, happiest vegan on earth,
Whoop,
love
whoop, whoop.
her. She got me doing this thing called castle admiration. And you just take some time to go up and just stare at the castle. And you could think, wow, it's a lovely castle. Or you can think about like,
Oh
what's
yeah.
important in life? Like you can have like whatever important
Yeah.
thoughts you want while just staring at how beautiful the castle is. And Shanghai Disneyland has an insane castle. So I would definitely have to have a castle admiration day and night each day, at least for like 5 minutes each time. One in the daytime, one at nighttime, every single day.
Largest
Gotta
Disney
take it in.
castle on the
Yeah.
planet in the universe. And I wonder, do they do like a kiss goodnight or anything? Oh, do all the
Ooh,
parks do that? Huh.
I don't know.
Question for the Disney fairies.
Yes.
Well, that was fun. I would do that for a relaxed trip. Get to see a little bit of Toy Story Hotel. You get to see the classic Disneyland Hotel, Shanghai style, and take your time, do the parks.
Yes. It's
And you
important.
included a makeup day to go back and ride the ones you liked and that you missed. So there you go.
Yes. All right. Let's see. You are going to Disneyland Paris,
I'm
which
going
is
to
exciting
Disneyland
because I've
Paris.
been there, so I can like listen to your plan and see how you rolled it out compared to what I did.
Yes. Also, I did in my mind in this vacation, I decided both parks. I'm looking at it as a resort, right?
Yep.
And I don't know if you remember, but this was what, like 2 years ago. I had booked a
Oh, yeah.
trip, a flight, and a room at the Hotel New York in Paris. And then for whatever reason, I canceled it. I think there was still like COVID happening. It was like a lot going on. So I canceled it. So I still have blue balls. That's the only word I could think of. Mickey
I mean,
ear-shaped
I'll go with
ball.
you. even before Tokyo, it was so fun. And it's
There you
pretty,
go.
you can fly to Paris pretty affordably
Yeah, there's
sometimes.
always like a
So,
lot of good deals from
yeah.
wherever in the US to Paris. Yeah, so this was a fun challenge. So again, thank you to Patreon member Jillian and our listener Jillian for this good challenge. Some of which I already had in mind, and then some I learned so much more by looking into what was there. Like I was just
Right.
gonna kind of wing it. There was a couple things I knew, but after this Patreon topic, I really kind of went in and I was impressed with some of the things. So I actually started my planning around food. It was the opposite of how you did yours. I first went to the food because I'm like, okay, where do I want to eat? And that's going to dictate how long I need to stay at this property to make sure I get to all the
Oh my God, I
food
love it.
because
Priorities.
I get I get too full. So you can only do like one sit down dinner a day, right? So you have to
Yeah,
spread it out.
definitely. If that,
Um,
even every day is like exhausting
right, yeah,
my
every day is
my
too much.
stomach.
And especially if you haven't acclimated to your hotel bathroom toilet yet, it's a whole thing. And I think anyone who's been listening to us since the very beginning or watching our Instagram, they know our talk always ends up talking about toilet talk
Pooping.
and pooping. It's you have to consider that on your vacations, very much so. Anyways, back to topic. So starting with restaurants, and there are a handful of restaurants I want to go to. So I'm gonna start with Disneyland Park. So there's two parks. There's Disneyland Park and there's Walt Disney Studios Park. So basically an MGM and a Magic Kingdom style park. So I would have to start at Disneyland Park. I want to get the full experience, even though there's a lot of repeats there, since I have 4 days in this imaginary vacation, or I'm going to do 3 days actually. 3 days of
Okay.
this imaginary vacation, 3 full days, which I think is one, two, three, 4 nights. Uh, I am gonna go to Disneyland and do the repeat so I could have some fun comparing it. But I did think that I needed you on this trip with me. I don't think it's fun to compare by myself. I suppose you could do it through like Instagram stories, but it's fun to do it with another
Yeah,
person,
true.
right? Who knows
Oh
the
yeah, you were on my
OG
trip too,
places.
FYI,
Oh,
my
there we
imaginary
go.
trip.
Perfect.
Of
Because
course.
we know Disneyland and we know Disney World now, so it's fun to make those
Yes.
comparisons. But yeah, I would start at Disneyland Park and I would have a dining reservation for us at Captain Jack's.
Okay.
Now, my eyes glossed over Captain Jack's several times during this fantasy planning because I thought it just makes it sound the name made it sound like counter service, tacky, off property. And then I was like, wait a minute, what's their Blue Bayou here? And then I find out that Captain Jack's
Oh,
is their table service restaurant that is most similar to Blue Bayou and is like inside and it's like immersive, dark. You're like in a swampy area. So definitely want to go there. It's not at all
is
what
it
I thought
inside
by
of
the
a
name.
ride?
I think it's inside of the Pirates ride.
I can't
Um,
remember.
it says aesthetically stunning. This is a fan recap of this restaurant. Aesthetically stunning like Blue Bayou in California. Mediocre food wise for the price, but still recommend it.
Okay.
So
Ambiance sells, you
ambiance,
know?
there you go. And I like figuring out like what is each park's version of like the indoor attraction restaurant. So I don't know if it is, but in my mind it is inside Pirates. So we have to go there. And then we have to hit up first all the classics. I would do all the classics first, all the repeats first, and get those out of the way. And then on day two, really spend some time simmering in all the new stuff that's new to us, or new to me, anyways.
Okay.
So I do that. They have a lot that is coming next year and the year after. So I'm pretending those don't exist on this fantasy trip. And
Okay.
the reason why that's important is because we're going to spend 2 days in Disneyland Park and only one day in the studios because the studios right now, as it is, still pretty small. And they do not yet have this full Fantasyland, or not, it's not even Fantasyland. They don't have this full expansion that they're adding in 25, which is like Arendelle and a couple other things. So let's pretend that's not there yet. So we
That's
have
right. So
plenty to
we can't even
do.
go to Paris for a couple years in real life. I
Yeah,
remember
that's
that.
what was stressing me out about that. I
Darn.
think I think what I planned though in this fantasy trip is still doable without the new things.
Okay.
Yeah, there's still plenty of stuff that's like new, at least new to me,
Right.
because you
Yeah,
you have been
yeah.
there. Yeah. Um, there's a lot of quick services that I want to try out, restaurants at Disneyland Park. There's fish and chips in Fantasyland called Toad Hall, Mr. Toad's. Very cute. Love that. And then they also they also have a pretty good layout that if you have a park hopper, it's more like Disneyland and California Adventure, where you don't really have to plot out the days so much. So let's say I wanted to go to Walt Disney Park Studios to eat for most of my meals. That turns out to be the plan because until I saw Captain Jack's, I didn't think there was any table service that I needed to go to at Disneyland proper.
Hmm.
But a lot of things caught my attention at Walt Disney World Studios across the way. And so one of the restaurants I want to eat
Walt
at,
Disney World Studios.
oh, oh my gosh, I can't keep these names straight. Walt Disney Studios Park with a C, by the way. It's French. Park with
Oh yeah,
P-A-R-C.
PARC. Because that's how they
Um,
spell it over there. And I was like,
yeah.
what?
They have a restaurant at the Walt Disney Studios. Pim, it's the Pim restaurant at Avengers Campus. They also have an Avengers Campus there. It's different because it's
Okay.
truly supposed to be a local version. Like every country has its own Avengers Campus, like in this
Oh,
fictional
like they should have done
universe.
with frickin'
They
Galaxy's
should have
Edge, you
done
mean?
it with Galaxy's Edge. Should have done it.
Shame.
And so this one has a couple of different things at their park. They do have a Pim restaurant, but it's a full table service restaurant. And from what I've seen of it, it looks a little more like what we got on the Disney Dream or Disney Wish cruise, like an interactive Marvel adventure while you're eating. So I
Okay.
definitely want to go there. So I would have a table reservation for that. And then they also have, this is actually in Disney, it's not called Springs, their shopping area,
Oh,
Disney Village,
Village.
like Belle has her village. There's something called Annette's Diner, which is based on Annette from the
Annette Funicello?
1950s Disney. Yeah, and it looks like
Cute.
it's giving me Flo's Cars Land Cafe mixed
Cute.
with 50s prime time.
I love that.
Yeah.
Cute.
So have to eat there. And that's at the village. So you don't even need a park ticket. So we need to eat there also. That could be a lunch, I suppose. And then there's another dinner that I want to have at Walt Disney Studios Park again at Chez Remy, the French restaurant that's in the Ratatouille area. I have no idea why they did not carry that over to Epcot, like the
Right,
park
especially in the
about
France
food. Yeah,
pavilion, right? Like,
exactly. It would have been perfect. Like get rid of there's I think two French restaurants there, three now with a creperie. Anyways, I feel like I want the full Remy experience, and I would go and ride. I mean, I would eat at Remy's and then end the night riding the Ratatouille ride because then it kind of just goes together as it should. And so
that's
that's
very
what I would do
cute. I
there.
love that.
Little experience planned around the food. And then yeah, so I kind of go, I guess, spend more time at Disneyland Park, but go back and forth depending on what I want to do. Avengers Campus over there, they took their version of Aerosmith's Rock and Roller Coaster and they
Hmm.
rethemed it to Avengers and Iron Man. Still not a fan of the actual ride itself because it gives me a headache. And
Banged
so
your head. Oh my God. Can you
I
hear my headphones wiggling when I shake my head around?
I
Jesus.
highly doubt they fixed that. They just slapped on IP on top of it.
Yeah.
So I guess I'd have to ride it once just to see what they put in, but I'm not looking forward to it. And then they also have the Spider-Man web attraction. So talk about repeats. There's honestly nothing at Avengers Campus that I'm excited about, and I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Wait, hold
I'm
on.
just
Spider-Man.
like,
What's the Spider-Man web attraction?
oh, the same one we have at DCA,
Oh,
the
web slingers, same
web
exact.
slingers, same
I didn't know that
exact.
they brought the same one over there. Okay.
Yeah. So the only thing that I'm excited about is that restaurant, which seems really cool. But so they basically did what we had at Disneyland, California. They took an existing ride, Tower of Terror, turned it into Marvel, made that the e-ticket, and then added on restaurant, shopping, and web.
Wait, Tower of Terror?
Yeah. Don't you remember?
I'm
Our Guardians used to be Tower of Terror.
no, I know that. Sorry.
Oh, I
Oh,
mean,
I thought you were
yeah.
saying over there. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm very mixed up.
in
Okay.
our
Yes, I get
California
it.
Adventure, yeah. They basically took one e-ticket, flipped it to Marvel, and then
Got
added
it.
on the campus. Yep. So I'm still excited. That's fun to compare it, especially because they're both open recently. Like, do you remember when we first went to both Galaxy's edges? It was almost uncanny, like seeing how almost cloned it was. Like you were
I kept
walking,
forgetting where I was.
yeah, and you're like, okay, I think
Like I would have a
the
moment where
hub's
I was
there.
like, oh, like I don't know. I was just like, it would make me feel like I was in California. It was very weird.
Yeah, like you just think the hub is on the other side of those bushes.
Yeah, I'm like, okay,
And
I'm just gonna walk out and get it.
Rivers of
Like
America.
go on Big Thunder Mountain and it's like way over
Very good.
there in a
Yeah,
different
very
park.
weird. All right, so Walt Disney Studios, Paris, has Avengers Campus, and then there's some other things I want to go to that I'm less excited about. So let's go walk back over to the Esplanade, to
Okay.
Disneyland Park with a C. I'm very excited about Phantom Manor. I've not even done a ride through of it. I think, okay, please correct me if I'm wrong. I thought it was the same. They just changed the name to be French, but I'm probably incorrect
It's never been the same
because
at all.
you just told us all that you changed an entire trip to go to it. So I'm thinking
Yeah,
now, oh, it must be unique. So
it's unique.
without too many spoilers, like what, yeah, what's cool about it?
I mean, so the concept of like being on a dark ride attraction with like the big like epicness of it, like a big you're in a big haunted mansion kind of deal, right? Versus being in like a Fantasyland storybook ride is still there. So like you have the big epic dark ride thing going on. Um, animatronics, like a lot of that is similar, but the story is completely different. Like it doesn't look like the Haunted Mansion. It's like an old okay, hold on. Because they've also changed it completely since I went.
Oh,
And I know
wow,
the story is
really?
different, but I don't know how much of it has changed. So in 2012 version of Phantom Manor, it was like a ghost town. Like it was like
Oh,
you're going through an old ghost town. Like there's the saloon and the very Western thing. It's in Frontierland. So
I
it's
like
very
that.
much themed to that. And then the Phantom is part of he's like the main character of the attraction. So
How
yeah.
fun is
And
that we got Liberty Square has it, New Orleans Square has it, and then I guess in Paris it's in Frontierland. I didn't realize that
yep,
they're all
it's in a
kind of
new
in
place in every park.
different.
Yep.
That's cute.
And even like Mystic Manor's in the family, right? That's in
Oh yeah.
Mystic something.
Yeah, there's like a water ride or some other rocky area or
What
something.
land is Mystic
Mystic
Manor
Manor.
in?
Man.
It is in Mystic Point.
Mystic
There it is.
Point. Okay, so I'm excited about Phantom Manor, especially because it's in Frontierland and it sounds like it has a whole different context to the New Orleans one.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'll definitely need to get on that and write that. They also have a Pirates of the Caribbean. That one's always fun to compare.
Mm-hmm.
This would be the third one I get to compare, I guess. So I'd want to do that. And then what's funny is I've been not funny, but funny to me is a lot of people online are saying don't miss the Lion King show. So I don't know if they still have that at the time whenever someone posted this and if they have it now, but I'm so tired of Lion King shows. It's like
Yeah,
I get
can
it.
we do something else with the poor Lion King than a show?
It's like over and over. So no, I'm not going to go to that. I refuse to go
No,
to
I'm
that.
gonna sit that one
I'm
out.
going to
Thank you
sit it
very
out.
much.
I've seen it enough times in a different bunch of different ways. Um, but yeah, so there's not that much ride wise that I'm super excited about, but I'm going to enjoy it. Just not that there's nothing that I'm like super excited about. For me, it's the food, the restaurants, and the hanging out in places. So I have to go under the castle and see the dragon
Yes.
and multiple times, daytime, nighttime. I feel like I need to make him a friend that I need to say hi to and say goodbye to
Yeah,
because
I
he's
love
only
that.
there, right? It's the only place you could see it. Very cool. So I'm excited about that. And then everyone just says it's so beautiful, the castle and everything, depending on the season. I think I would go during Halloween because I love
Okay.
Halloween decorations. And people on Reddit are saying you must do their Halloween event. So for one of those nights, I will purchase a ticket for us to go to the special party. And they say
Very
they do it
cool.
up even better than Disneyland and Disney World. So bring it on. Like I want to see how
Bring it
fun it.
on, right?
They
Yeah.
probably have a cool parade, a lot of interesting characters coming out. So I would do that. So that's like a fun thing based on the time of year you decide to go.
That was around the time we went to Disneyland Paris and the weather was decent. So
Oh, there you go.
yeah. So good timing for weather.
Good timing for weather. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Where am I gonna stay though? So I decided, oh God, now your plan is changing my plan. I really, okay, let's go to real life for a second. I had booked Hotel New York The Worlds of Marvel, which
Mm.
is a rethemed hotel. They basically did what they did with Pixar, but it does look like it's done very well, very deluxe hotel in Paris. So it was originally themed to Art Deco New York, and they updated it to be Marvel, but it's not Marvel like immersive Marvel, it's the art of Marvel. So it's like staying in a really luxurious gallery of works of art from Marvel animators, not even animators, drawers, what do they call it? Illustrators, the people who
Artists.
are artists that do the comic books. Like it goes back to the comic book roots.
Very cute.
So that sounds really cool. And I had booked that because Disneyland Hotel was under construction for years, apparently.
Mm.
But it just reopened and it's so pretty. It's so
And it's
pretty.
like in the park.
It's in the park. Like there's
Yeah.
views of the castle
Yeah,
from
that's
your
really
window.
cool.
So sorry, Art of Marvel. I'm just gonna do Disneyland Hotel the whole time. Yeah, I
Oh,
don't like switching.
I
I'm too
am
lazy. Once I
I'm
unpack,
kind of blown away by that answer.
but can go there. Maybe go to eat at a restaurant, take pictures. They do
True.
have meet and greets at the Marvel Hotel as well, like in the morning. The heroes stop by, I guess. So yeah, we'd have to go check it out. And because everything is so centralized, I think we could just walk over there when we want a nice cool break, something like that. But yeah, so I would say Disneyland Hotel. It just looks gorgeous. Like you said, its footprint is in the front of the Disneyland park proper. You could see the park, and it almost looks like a whimsical version of Grand Floridian. So it doesn't look
Yeah.
like the Disneyland Hotel I think of in Anaheim at all. It's just called that by name. And they just really tried to make you feel like you're having this royal experience. That's what they're saying,
Yes.
even about this
I think
refurb. They're
that's a
like,
good
you're just
example.
going to feel like royalty when you go into your room, no matter which room and all the restaurants. So yeah, gotta stay there. That'll be nice. But they do have some other cool hotels. They have Sequoia Lodge, which is a lot like Grand Californian.
Okay.
So that must be fun, especially if you're a European traveler going there, because you get to experience like California national parks,
Yeah,
which
that
is so far
craftsman
away.
style. I didn't see that anywhere in Europe.
Yeah.
So I
So
don't
that
know if
must
that's
be exotic for them to stay
popular at all.
there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Versus like sometimes where is it? I guess we always used to make fun of California having a California themed theme park
Yeah.
in California. Whereas this one, yeah, that's California theme in Paris, so that must be fun. And then they have a couple of other themed hotels, and then there's one that's pretty far, meaning it's not walkable. It's the only one. They did it in partnership with the city of Paris, and it's like all about um, clean energy and conservation and all that. It's very nature. I think it's called Nature Park or something. But that's too far. I want to be able to walk around everywhere. So Disneyland Hotel is the way to go, especially if it's going to be my first visit. So yeah, that's what
Right.
I would do with my dream trip. Disney.
I
She
love
said
it.
Disney Day, but we both ended up doing 3 or 4 days.
That's true. She
Too
did. And
bad.
we just ignored her. We're like, listen,
Too bad.
can't just do a day. There's no way it's physically possible.
Oh, there's
Sorry,
one
Disney.
other thing I should mention, especially if someone is actually legit planning a trip. They have a skip the line pass there too, and it's also
Okay.
different than the other ones. There's this called Premier Pass, and there's different versions of it. I didn't go too far down that rabbit hole, but it sounds a lot like a Genie Plus before Genie Plus. So they've had this for a little bit of time,
Okay.
longer than Genie
All the
Plus.
international parks have their own systems and they're all super confusing.
Oh, very
And
confusing. And their own app too, like you said with Shanghai.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that was awesome. I want to go traveling now.
Yeah.
So dang it. Can we please go? Well, thank you once again, Jillian, for bringing us another Patreon takeover topic. Today we talked about planning our perfect Disney day and or Disney trip at any of the international parks, snacks and all. We went to Disneyland in Paris and in Shanghai, and it was a blast.
Amazing. Well, thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed episode 178 of the Disney Holics Show.
Follow us on social media at the Disney Holics.
And if you want to get in touch, send us a DM on Instagram or contact us at thedisneyholics.com.
Okay,
Okay,
bye.
bye.